You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. First of all, I just like I always say, karibuni to all of you. Greetings to all of you that would be joining us on this very short broadcast tonight. We have a very special guest in studio today, and he is going to be a door opener, as I can say, to the Panama city where our people are located for the past 500 years. I mean, most of us grew up hearing about the Panama Canal. We never knew that it was our ancestors who actually built that channel through with their sweat, with their blood, and everything. And now a couple of guests have been coming here, our scholars and historians actually advise us that our people in the Colombia, in Costa Rica, in Venezuela, all these Caribbean islands in North and South America, we need to get in touch with them. Little did we know that we have a queen mother and a whole colony that is sitting out there. And tonight we have our brother, Mr. Javier Montilla. He's going to be telling us what's going to happen, or just introducing us again, even telling us the history. I mean, this is really historic, as I can say. Like, I never knew for 1 second that Panama was even, hosted our people. And now the Queen Mother is really kind of busy after going through a lot of challenges, as you can know, you can understand. Try to connect the continent and its indigenous diasporans out there. Has she extensively traveled the continent a couple of times, even from when she was growing up till now that she's a queen mother, a ripe one. She's been day and night to connect continent, because she told me today, you know what, I can't sleep because my ancestors keep telling me we are not at peace. They need to go back home. And so, because she has this vision, she could not sleep. So I want to welcome all of you tonight on this program. The time is now, or the time has come. Officially, we're going to get the Queen Mother, Dr. Melida Harris Barrow, tomorrow, who is the representative of this vision out there and our people out there in the Caribbean and in the diaspora. Also sitting on the board, the most important board called the SIT Region Eco Global Commerce, connecting the continent and its diaspora in terms of economics. Can you imagine? Can you just for once imagine what we've been sitting on for ages, for centuries, for decades? Now it's all coming back to us. Thank you so much. I hope all of us are gathered, and we just want to get this very short, quick conversation with a part of the team and event manager that is telling us what is she going to be talking about, what is she really made of, what are the sacrifices, what are the projects, what are the events that are coming up. So greetings to you, brother Javier. Greetings and welcome. Can you hear me, brother Javier? Hello. Can you hear me? No. He has to unmute. Brother Javier, if you can unmute, greetings to all my queens in the house. And one of the major events going out there.
Okay.
Um,
Do you
okay, okay. Now you're there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Um, welcome. Did you hear anything before what I was saying in my introduction?
Yes, yes, it was a lovely introduction, and thank you very much for having me here today. Hello, everyone that is connected to this lovely show. As you, Dr. Tata, were doing the introduction, my name is Javier Montilla, and I'm the part of a project management team that is helping and supporting Dr. Melida Harris Barrow in this amazing endeavor that she has taken for the last 30 or plus years. We are sitting in Panama City, Panama, in Central America. Um, Dr. Harris is, she personally says that she got this vision from God. She's a very spiritual person, and she's been working really hard for bringing some equality to vulnerable communities for the last 30 years. She's been working with not only the Afro Americans and Afro descendants in Panama and the region, but she has also connected with Mother Africa in many different ways. One of the major entrepreneurships, just to call it entrepreneurships, but actually it's more a project. She founded the six region global chamber of commerce in order to bring opportunities for the African diaspora. As you know, Africa is divided into five regions, and the sixth region is precisely representing the diaspora of Mother Africa. Dr. Harris has come up with the idea of a journey of reconciliation between Mother Africa and her diaspora. Um, we all grew up listening to a story about slavery and the trade and that horrific the horrors that the sons of Africa got to go through when they were sold out of their motherland. Um, for Africans, for many Africans, we believe that they don't know what their brothers, sisters, uh, have gone through in the last 500 years since ever then they arrived in this side of the Atlantic. The history tells us about in America. Many of us didn't even know that those kingdoms in Africa were still alive, and so Dr. Harris came up with this idea of reconciling the two sides. People doesn't understand pretty well how life was before the slavery trade, how bright and the way the society were in the African continent before the slavery trade. So Dr. Melida's vision was to start a journey in order to reconcile both ends. The descendants of the queens and are you there? Oh, sorry. The descendants of those kings and queens that are actually ruling now their kingdoms, they don't know what their sons and daughters went through in this side of the Atlantic. So in many ways, those kings and queens and tribal chiefs to meet with the diaspora here in Panama. And it's not only the vision is not only to have Panamanian, Afro Panamanians, as we call them, we call ourselves, many of us, but also um, to, to have representations from other parts of the world in the Americas at the beginning. So she envisioned this to be not only an event that is going to last 7 days in 2022, but it's the starting of a journey of reconciliation. And the idea is that we start in Panama, but then this journey is going to carry on, bringing brothers or sisters in the United States of America, the Caribbean, and going back to Africa. And the vision doesn't end there. She wants the African party as such to meet the diaspora globally. And that's why she came up with the idea of the sixth region chamber of commerce, because what she is trying to do is not only talking about history, it's not only talking about our tragedy, it's also talking about the opportunities and how to build a better future for all of us involved. And I'm including myself, because although I'm not, you know, I'm not quite sure that I have an African ascendant, but as you can see, I kind of look like coming from India or Pakistan, or the eastern side. But definitely the mix that was bring on by the conquering times here in the Americas is very rich. And Dr. Melida is precisely addressing those issues, because it's not only the African diaspora, the one that was affected by the slavery trade. Remember that in the Americas there were a massive indigenous population that was also harassed, exterminated in some countries, and it's been suffering kind of the same issues and challenges that the African diaspora got. So Dr. Harris wants to reunite all of those suffering, and it's no way forward if we don't understand the past. So during those 5 days, 6 days that we're going to be gathering here in Panama, we're going to address all those issues. We're going to have the kings and queens from Africa um, reconciliating with the lost children through the slavery trade, but also trying to get together, trying to bring sustainable development into the conversation, how to improve life of that diaspora, aiming at the future. But sometimes the scars that the population got from that horrific tragedy are not going to heal if we don't understand how life was before, what they went through, and how we're going to prepare for the future. So we need to embrace the future, understanding the past, and trying to make it now, because I don't think we have much time for it.
Absolutely, very, very correct. Correct. Like we cannot go forward without, like we say, Sankofa, without going back to the roots. It is very, very essential, particularly in these times where we're living in, to understand actually that we are a part, and without us functioning as a complete, as a collective, nothing is going to actually happen. I had a conversation with her, and I was really, like I was frozen. I was freezing. I was frozen, as a matter of fact, because I keep asking myself, for more than how many years, decades, and this is the generation of the fifth or sixth, and they still carry the wounds of the past. They don't even know where she actually said it in a conversation, how she talked to her niece, and her niece doesn't even know where their house is on the continent. And that's broken we are. So I'm really looking excited, and the and the whole community, to this introduction, particularly the fact that it's the first time that we're getting to meet her, and to know her in person. It is really a kind of like, wow, what is it going to look like? What do you think that we should be expecting? Is she, um how do I want to put it? I feel that pain when she said, and this is what we should be talking about, or we would be talking about, because she's going to address Africans worldwide. It's not going to be a conversation like me and you are having. That's why we are doing the pre introduction. When she said Africans on the continent, maybe, just maybe, particularly this generation, know now that, their brothers and sisters were enslaved in the Colombia, in the all these parts of the world. But do they know what they went through? And when she said that, exactly, that's the point where I was pierced. Like, yes, even we talk about the African Americans, the Caribbeans, do we really know their history, the pain that they went through for all these decades? How can we understand them if we don't feel that pain? And that's what she'll be addressing tomorrow, for us to know the time has come. Over to you, Javier.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna meet Dr. Harris more in depth, and you're gonna see a person that is it. The way I see it, she's already healed. Okay, and she wants to pass on that experience to others, and she wants to help a huge community, because we're not talking about the neighborhood. We're not talking about a city. We're talking about the whole world, where the African diaspora has impacted many different lives, even countries. You just touch a very good point in there when you said we don't know, we don't understand, we don't know the history, we don't know where we come from really. Okay. um and Dr. Harris has been spreading that sentiment, that word, for the last 30 years, because she felt the pain herself. She was at some point secluded, and at some point, you know um uh, not given the right opportunities. But actually, she is a successful person. She's a very successful businesswoman. She has an amazing vision for everything she does. She's been taking care of children, and empowering women and men also, that don't know that they have the potential to be sustainable in a future. She's been talking to the indigenous people in Panama and some other regions of the Americas, not only talking about the past. I mean, she's been addressing the past as a tool to understand what we're living now, and to build together a greater future. And the future comes with opportunities. Let me just tell you a short story about Dr. Harris. She was talking to she was teaching at some point in her life a group of children that were in very vulnerable communities. Okay, that happened here in Panama on the Caribbean coast, as you know. And those of you that don't know, Panama as a country is a isthmus that is holding together Central and North America and South America. So we are
Absolutely.
blessed by having two coastlines. We have in the north we have the Caribbean Sea, and in the south we have the Pacific Ocean. So most of the slave trade came to our countries, to this region, through the Caribbean, because that's a connection to the Atlantic. So that was the best and shortest way to get from Africa to our continent. And also remember that Spain, England, and some other empires were recently discovered land, and they were making a business out of it. So in one of the populations in the northern part of Panama, she was teaching this young crew, and one of the kids raised the hand and says, "I want to become a president here in Panama." And some of his classmates that were also African descendants said, "You cannot do that because you are black." And then she said, "You are wrong, because I don't see colors here. I see people." And you know what? From now on, this kid's name is not going to be whatever his name was. It's going to be El Presidente, the president. And to make a long story short, the kid is now finishing his second postgrad course, and he is actually um, aiming to become the president at some point of Panama. And the funny thing is that he is still presents himself as el presidente, that he is so fixated in achieving what he wants to achieve. And that was installed by Dr. Harris's course and Dr. Harris's um, journey. And one of the things that she keeps repeating is, you don't need to aim for the obvious. You need to aim for the impossible, because impossible is nothing. If you want to become a nurse, fine. But if you can become a doctor, that's also awesome and fine. So basically, you're gonna find a person that is energetic, powerful, and she has this idea fixated in her brain and in her actions, that she wants to unite the diaspora of the lost children of Africa during the slave trade with the actual world and the future. And the first connection has to be with Mother Africa. That's why she's bringing, and she's doing a lot to bring President Sall, His Excellent, the President of the African Union and Senegal, President Macky Sall. She's doing her best in order to try to bring him to Panama, because he represents 54 nations in Africa, and we need to talk to each other. So the 24 countries that we may live together in Latin America, plus Canada, the USA, the Caribbean, we need to get together somehow. And that's her vision. And it's not only getting together for the sake of it, it has it has an objective. And the legacy she wants to build is to physically build a sustainable development center for Afro descendants. That's the title, because she's also addressing the indigenous community, and she's also addressing every community that may be in social risk, as we call it, a vulnerable communities, in order to empower them and to make them sustainable to live a quality life.
Thank you very much, Javier. For those of you that are joining us, I know people are really asking questions like, what is the topic? What's the agenda? Who is talking to us today? Yes. Javier is here to introduce to us our guest for tomorrow, a very honorable guest for the first time. I mean, I can say the middle point connecting us across the diasporas out there, which is the Panama, the Queen Mother of Panama City, or Panama as a country. And we all are aware of the fact that King Bongane has been here twice and spoke about a meeting that was scheduled to take place in Panama. And never did we know before the COVID stories came in and all the whole thing fell. But you can still remember when King Bongane came here and told us that they were meeting in Panama for a journey of reconciliation. Do you all remember? If you don't remember and you're here for the first time, just go back to the conversations and you would click that you are going to say that. So this is exactly the journey that he was talking about. And we didn't know that this journey was put by the Queen Mother that is sitting in that middle point, and that would bring the diasporas home. Of course, King Bongane told us everything, but did we know actually the magnitude that it was going to be like this? Did we even know that it was a Queen Mother sitting on a whole of that clan? We didn't know. Professor James came here and told us, yes, until we would reach out to our brothers and sisters in the Colombia, in Haiti, in Brazil, in this all these communities, Mexico, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Vanuatu, West Papua Guinea, all these communities out there, we have been announced before by our great scholars that have been here, and historians and experts who have been telling us we're still not complete. Africans on the continent can really jubilate, but we are talking about the enslaved children. I mean, the invaded that were taken away and brought here for 500 years. And this situation is we will never be complete until the whole collective has met, at least sat on the table, reconciled, pour libations, appease the ancestors, which is one of the core things she was talking about and she's crying about. And she said, I can't get some rest. I can't sleep because my sisters keep telling me they want to go home. They are stuck. Take my children home. It's the same thing King Bongane said. Until this journey of reconciliation would take place, and we try to meet even the other indigenous cultures that were there, then we carry the remains of our ancestors back home, then maybe, just maybe, we would have been starting something extraordinary in this time. And so here actually, I really, really want to thank him for his time, because he's the one that's been supporting the Queen Mother, Dr. Melinda Harris Barrow. When I just posted this morning, and a lot of people were writing me from Kenya, from Mozambique. Can you imagine? From South Africa, like, oh, wow, we do know her. She's so connected. She's a hardworking. And you guess what? She is a workaholic. From the moment I spoke to her this morning till now that I'm talking to you, she's been the one coordinating everything, whether the flyer that is coming out or what we're going to be talking about, or everything. She's connected me to Ghana. She's connected me where, I mean, and she told me, I work hard. I'm a workaholic. So I know people wake up and just understand the spirit that they have in them, and that this journey will not go anywhere of a united Africa without the reconciliation of its children in the diaspora. And it's just not just reconciliation. Without us actually feeling the pain, what they went through, what happened. Of course, the ones on the continent would also ask the diaspora, brothers and sisters, look at us. It's like the zebra, the one in the zoo in America or in wherever, anyone on the continent. They look at themselves and say, look at us, look at our colors. It's the same, but the brain has been captured. So the brothers and sisters and mothers on the continent would also say, sisters in the diaspora, do you know what they actually left and did to us when they took you away? And that is the story. That is the time that we're saying the time has come for this massive reconciliation to take place between the kings and the queens. And they're going to be meeting in Panama. I just wish I could be there. I wish anyone watching me now could just say, Dr. Susan Tata, buy you a ticket to be on that. Because that is the point where, I think, the middle point where something has always been missing. Our diaspora weeps and mourns, and like, do we even understand them? Can you imagine that you were taken from your roots? You don't know anything about who you are. And they're like, better for you on the continent. Just stay there, even if you have boundaries and tribes and you don't even know or what is the same agenda, but at least you are on the continent. At least you know the road to the village. At least you know where, when something to the rivers, to the mountains, you know. What about us who don't know, who don't have an idea, who people look at us and just like, you don't even belong here, right? So we are going to have this historic event tomorrow. And because it's also the official International Day of the Women, she's going to unveil this week, actually starting with this journey of the reconciliation of Mother Africa and its children in the diaspora. So we're all looking forward to that historic address. And she's going to be addressing us, like I said. It's not going to be a question answer or a conversation. So that's why our brother Javier is here, to prepare us for what would be happening, what she would be talking about, and for us to even understand the background. So, brother, I want to get back to you a little bit and like, could you just describe, like you already spoke, like you are sitting in the middle point. How many islands, how population? I think you're close to 5 million or something.
Yeah, well, here in Panama, we are in excess of 4 million people.
Okay.
Panama is also known as a cultural melting pot, right? The Panama Canal was built over 100 years ago, and it was mainly the workforce was brought from the Caribbean islands, basically. I mean, many from the French Caribbean and the British Caribbean. Um, Mixed with an important number of Asians as well, people from India, people from China. So basically, I'm going to risk it here and say that Panama is a very universal country. We have a great deal of indigenous communities that are still living um, through to their beliefs. We call it comarcas, which could be like shires. Um, and we have many different, three or four different ethnias that live here in Panama, and they have their own. They have managed to keep their land. So Panama also has, as I said before, we have two coastlines. We have the Pacific Ocean, and in the northern side of the country, we have the Caribbean shores. Um, the slave trade came to Panama through the northern side of the country in a province called Colon. Um, the name the name of the province is due to um, Christopher Columbus. In Spanish, Christopher Columbus' name is Cristobal Colon. So that province has the name Colon, but it's one of the provinces that receive the majority of the diaspora. Many of them were kept in Panama. Some others were diverted to other countries like Costa Rica, Venezuela, Colombia, even down south, because many of the trade was happening from the Caribbean coast. But then, uh, way before, we're talking about the 1500s, right? They were already using Panama as a gateway in order to bring in and bring out the different riches and also the slave trade from the Pacific all the way to the Atlantic, all the on to Europe. So it was a very active commercial hub, even at that early stages in our history. Panama City is the capital, and we have about 1.5 million people living in here in Panama City. We have an amazing infrastructure, touristically speaking. We have over 25,000 hotel rooms. So we're ready to receive all the diaspora that is going to be attending the event. During those 6 days, because the event is starting on the 19th of May, we're going to have different activities. We're going to have the ceremony of healing or reconciliation, where we're planning to take those kings and queens visiting us to the landing spot of that diaspora, because they know where most of the diaspora left Africa, but they didn't exactly know where they landed. So we're gonna
Mhm.
take them there. We're gonna take those kings and queens to see what their lost children has to go through in order to recreate and give them the right piece of history there. Also, we're gonna have discussions between the communities and the kings and queens for them to understand what they are living nowadays, and then we're going to get a connection with those kings and queens, with the diaspora, in order for them to understand where the future is lying ahead, right? So if you look at from a managerial point of view, what Dr. Harris is doing is fantastic, because she's connecting the history, right, with the present in order to
Mhm.
build a future. So
Correct.
during the event days, we're going to have panels with the United Nations, with social responsibility panels, with the government of Panama in charge of social development. So Dr. Harris has actually united the corporate world, the community, and the government in order to build together a strategy that can get a lot of people, can give a lot of people a opportunity to have a better future.
Thank you very much, Javier. I mean, it was very so kind of you to to clear up and just introduce the right passage before we host our queen tomorrow, Queen
Yeah.
Mother, and it has been a pleasure, and thank you for your support. But one more question, like I just was reading, 10% of our people are out there. I mean, they actually like put it, 10% are blacks of the origins, and then we have the indigenous as well, and the multicultural, like you said, is actually a place, an attractive place. But Dr. Harris, Melida is really straight and focused on her objectives. Um, she takes her past, as we said, combine it with the future, with the present, and sees the future. I mean, there can be no better way. And one thing she said, and she's gonna be maybe expanding on that. I hope she would really have time to break that. Was the fact that she keeps saying, until we appease our forefathers, our ancestors, we're going to be like in the bubble, just turning around. So, and we wonder why. And I asked her the question, what did you actually think that we did that we need to appease? Why are ancestors angry, for instance? Because she's a sangoma, and so she told me, of course, because we let down our own self. It wasn't nothing like the creator hated us. No,
Mhm.
but we betrayed the trust for one another, and it is still happening today. So if we don't go back to fix that, to Sankofa, to say what happened at this breaking point,
Yeah.
and then to merge it up and to say, all right, now we do know what happened and we're moving ahead. Because she said it is, it has gone on, and she's been mediating, facilitating, even like you said, bringing the African Union on the table is not a piece of cake, particularly the diaspora. But I have so much respect, for a mother, a queen like that, that would bring the kings to say, this is where the issue is. Don't just sit on the continent and say, come home. Probably you need to come and feel and see what we're talking about. We have graves of Malcolm X. We have all this. Go there to those places. Feel it, get it. Then you would understand when we say it is very necessary that we unite as a body, because sometimes we take it as a privilege or a luxury, which we are. And until we empathize with our diaspora, we've been talking about here a couple of times, that we just don't come here and just like, diaspora, come home to motherland. Diaspora, come home to motherland. Of course, we need to heal. We need to know the pain. We need to know the stories. So I'm quite excited, and I know Africans across the globe are equally excited to listen to the Queen Mother and get her blessings for the first time tomorrow. So, Javier, apart from just this conference that will be taking place, is anything going to happen again soon after that? Or that's just going to be the ceremony, everything done and everything over, and we don't see ourselves again? Maybe we meet on the continent someday.
No, no, actually, that's a fantastic question and remark, because that's why she has emphasized for this activity to be called a journey. Okay, and for us, we don't see that journey ending anytime soon. Um, the planning is to have the opening of that journey here in Panama in May, and then the next year we're gonna be in the States, in the United States of America. Then in 2024, we're gonna be in the Caribbean, and in 2025, we're planning to head back to Africa. But in between, knowing Dr. Harris' enthusiasm and drive, um, she wants to include other regions of the world that have brothers and sisters from that diaspora as well. So this first, let's say that the event in Panama is going to be the launching of the journey as such, a
Mm.
journey that is going to take us into healing, into reconciliation, but also creating opportunities. And I'm gonna take just a few seconds to let you know, to the audience and to yourself, that we have some confirmation of kings that are gonna come to Panama. Um, His Royal Highness Uni of Ive Adeyeye
Ife,
Enitan
Ife.
Ogunwusi, yeah,
Mhm.
is gonna be here from Nigeria. I apologize if some of the names don't come up correctly from my mouth. I apologize for that.
It is
Her,
okay.
yeah, Her Royal Highness Queen Diambi Kabatusuila,
Yes.
from Congo. Actually, we had a press conference last Friday, and Her Majesty Diambi did send us a very loving and touching message, also reconfirming that she will be among us in May. Also, we have His Royal Highness Dr. Ridwan Sulaiman Adamu, Emir of Bauchi Emirate in Nigeria, from the Bauchi state. He's also coming to Panama. We're going to have some keynote speakers that are going to be led by Dr. Noah Dalaji. He's a founder and president of African Children's Talent Discovery Foundation. And I'm going to make a quick stop here because Dr. Dalaji is been working with the African Union very closely, but also his foundation is a great C nonprofit organization recognized by the United Nations. And he's going to be leading panels that are going to empower young children, youngsters, and also empowering women, to take them out of the risk, the social risk. And we're going to also have His Royal Highness Prince Ermia Saleh Selassie. Um, Prince Selassie is is the only son of Prince Saleh Selassie of Ethiopia and Princess Mahisente Mariam. He's the grandson of the great Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. So imagine the stature of a program that Dr. Harris has put together. Jean-Claude Toumasso, he's the CEO and president of the Yatukirk Providence Foundation. And also we're going to have Mr. Kober Nkube from South Africa. So as you can see, she has not only keep clinch to the past, she is a firm believer that we need to heal through knowing your history, but also doing something about it. Not only
Mhm.
talk, and having a militant speech, because sometimes we speak too much. But the good thing about Dr. Harris is that she has a lot of her speeches. She's coming from a very lovely place of healing. She is an example of what empowerment can do to people, and I think
Mhm.
you're going to have a very entertaining and enlightening session tomorrow with her.
Thank you so much, Javier. Yes, I already had a piece of it today, and I can't wait. I can't wait to have her. My whole day was just something else. Only listening and talking to her was too much healing, like you said. And I think she is that queen that is bringing the healing. We've been talking about our processes. We know the we're starting to understand the journey that we're going through, but she is the queen of the healing. She is. When she talks and she explains, like you said, she has already overcame. She has walked over, and now she's pulling back those of us that are still broken. And it is the first time that we're actually getting into this kind of deeper knowledge of the broken spirited, and what generations upon generations out there went through. And for the first time, we're addressing this topic about healing. We knew actually, dear family, that we need a healing. We do. We say it all the time. All our scholars that have been here said it a couple of times to say, yeah, we know we will have to heal, but this is the beginning of the journey of healing. And King Bongane, like I said, even King Maponga said it. And why I'm still stressing on this, because now we hear it, and if we did not even go back to it, we won't even just understand that that's something that has been mentored to us already about this historical event of reconciliation, the journey of reconciliating the diaspora. To be honest with you, even the day King Bongane was talking about this, I really did not, I just knew they're going to meet, and then, all right, we followed up the conversation. But when I spoke to the Queen Mother, who is actually the one that is inviting and initiating all this royal passage, then I understood clearly. And I think it's an opportunity for all of us to understand it, to feel it, to know that we had a queen and we didn't even know. And now our ancestors are bringing all those passages together, awakening all of us, connecting us and entangling us together, and said, you have a mother out there that is sitting on children across the globe. So it's going to be a very exciting event and an educational one, of course. And but like I said, everyone is still just like, "Oh, wow, what is it going to be? How, what again?" Because we've been listening to a lot of conversations, and like you said, most of the time we had the opinion, are we just talking? What is going to happen next? But now we're bringing the spirit of not just of talking, but doing. There's two things that are going together to take us there. There is nothing more than being thankful, and there is nothing more to say than to say the time has come. So I want to thank you. Like I said, we were going to make this very, very short because it's an introduction. Yes. Shall I may say, I am because you are, because we are, as a matter of fact. Can I get my technical here to me? Because we're rounding up this conversation. And brother, thank you so much. What is the last thing, Javier, that you want us to know? I like your smile. We see the spirit in you, even though you say no, you're Italian or Indian or whatever. We don't even know us again because we all are origins from there. You understand what I mean? But we see the touch of a melanin in you.
That's the way Latin America is. I mean, that's why many times we don't understand the dialectic that is going around between skin color, because we are all mixed. You see, my surname comes from southern Spain, but then
Yes,
remember that the the West Africans, basically the Arab colonies, conquer and occupy Spain for 5 centuries. So many of us, although have Spanish surnames, we have a very diverse DNA. That's why we need to know each other, because the way we talk, the way we behave, the way we do business, the way we understand history is totally different. It's totally different. You were right. You said about 10% of the population in Panama is 100% black. Uh, but actually, we all have that touch of melatonin, as you call it, because we are all mixed. You have Chinese in Panama, descendants of Chinese, mixed with African descendants, European descendants, with indigenous people. So we are all mixed. So for us, the last thing that I want to say is that I truly would love to welcome you all here in Panama in May and join us for this journey that is just beginning. We need you, brothers and sisters, to be here and support this idea, because this idea is not about Dr. Harris. This idea is not about Dr. Tata or myself. This idea is about all of us, all of us, we can
Mhm.
all live in the same world. We need to put the past to sleep. But before putting it to sleep, we need to know his name or her name. We need to understand when that past was born. We need to understand each other and how we suffer together. Hopefully we're going to be living a better world tomorrow. So thank you for bringing me today, and I hope that you have a very good show tomorrow, because Dr. Harris is not only a very powerful woman, but she is also extremely entertaining.
I already got that touch. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Thank
We do
you.
love you. We send our love out there to
Okay.
everyone out there. Hopefully, yes, why not? We're going to meet ourselves in Panama on
Oh,
May
that will
20.
be fantastic to have you here and show you around, because you will understand a lot. Sometimes we don't understand where we come from, and when I brought it earlier that I look like coming from India or Pakistan, I have it all the time when I'm traveling. Some people feel offended because I don't speak Punjabi or I don't speak Hindi, but I'm not truly Indian. But my genotype somehow must have some of the African DNA mixed with the Indian and also European altogether. So me as an example, when I look back to my past, I'm quite confused. I'm trying to find answers and I cannot find them. Well, I mean, my surname is coming from a region in southern Spain called Montilla, but I have no connection with that region. I don't know where I come from, to be honest. I know who my mom and my dad are, two or three generations up, but I don't truly understand it. Imagine the whole diaspora. We are lost children anyhow. So we're gonna get together, put that to sleep, and go ahead. I'm looking forward to have you here, Dr. Tata. So don't disappoint me.
Oh no, it's not about you, Javier. You can understand how hot I am to be there to see the landing port where they took my people from Jamaica and the other islands. So it is a do. It is not a touristic trip, and to see that Panama that my ancestors bleeded, building it, and yours. So of course, the humble and the opportunity is mine. Thank you so very much for your
Yeah.
welcome. Yes.
Thank you,
We
sister.
see us
Now I
very soon.
feel confident
Yeah.
in calling you sister.
Yes, of course. You are. That's who we are. We don't know how to call ourselves differently as apart from
Yeah.
brothers and sisters, and even when
Fantastic.
we make mistakes about that are not our brothers and sisters, we just say it.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. We see us. I hope you're gonna be watching the show tomorrow with Queen Mother.
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna miss it.
All right. Good night to you. Good
Good
night to
night
you,
to you.
brother. Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Yes. Good. 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 My people, the heat is on. The time has come. I know a lot of you got in here, and a couple of people nearly went out and like, Dr. Susan, what is going on? Any F what is happening here? And I saw people who actually were commenting in the chat like, even though I'm listening, I don't even understand the topic. You know, that's how spoiled we are on the Pan African Daily. We just so love ourselves so much so that nothing else matter if it is not about us and us telling our own to our own, nothing else matter. But you know what? We have to grow to also understand the pain of a broken. So, can you imagine what these Westerners, these Europeans did to a whole race on the global hemisphere? And we think something is going to happen just like that and the world just continues? No, the time has come. The time has come. The time has come. Yes. And it's now. Okay, so I really want to thank you. I saw your mimics, but I love your comments. You are so, so anointed. You are spirited. The community, the family on Pan-African Daily is a healed community. I went through the charts a little bit and I saw the way you accommodated our brother. I love that spirit. Remember, it is not our business. We have to heal our own self first, and then we will heal the world. I think it is not even like we will have to heal ourselves until Africa would be one. Then the world will know peace and love and tranquility. That's a fact. So, as a matter of fact, just to say, every other thing starts with us. So, and ends with us. Remember the beginning, so the end. There's an African proverbs that say, if you want to know the end, look at the beginning, right? Look at the beginning. It's a Ugandan proverb. If you want to know the end, look at the beginning. So, how was it in pre-colonial history? That's how it's going to end. You better begin to believe it. It's not a negotiation. Nothing should shock us here anymore on the Pan-African Daily, because we know it and we already affirm it, and we are certain that no time would ever be like this. Okay, so just dream about it tomorrow, that we're going to have a queen mother from Panama. Panama, like I said, really, I did European history and I knew about the Panama Canal. Panama, where the blood of our ancestors were taken, chopped from the other parts to build. And they say 10% are blacks. Who? Where did they come from? What did they go through? How many generations have they suffered until we have a queen mother that is still alive? Wow. Bayete, Bayete, Bayete. So it is no coincidence. The time has come when the queens are rising up to gather the children, sons and daughters, back to mother. Not even one, a single, would be left behind. Not even a hair. All. Okay. So I thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And we are going to see ourselves here tomorrow. Please. It's going to be another historic journey that we're starting now. Because from what I hear and from what I know and from what this vision is all about, remember, it's not about her. It's not about me. It's not even about you. It is the continuity of the ancestors that we have put on another skin. It is not about Dr. Harris. She's carrying that mission, just like I am, just like each and every one of us. And we are so thankful that they have collectively putting the parcels together. So if we're going to meet in Panama, it's not because, like I was telling Brother Jarvis, that I just want to go and see how beautiful that country is. Because who made it beautiful? It's my ancestors, the blood of my people. Is it more beautiful than any other place? Tell me any other civilization that we didn't make it beautiful. Please name one. None. So we beautify the whole world. And so the whole world belongs to us. And I could really understand when we start moving closer to say, it is our humanity, it's our people. Whether we like it or not, Mother Africa, sorry. But that's it. Okay. So we're seeing ourselves here tomorrow, isn't it? Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Nathaniel. Thank you, Ligola. Thank you, Jay Edwards. Thank you, Hilly Dulavier. Virtuous Sisters. Thank you so much. Right. And Sinovia, King Leo, right? Leo Marshall, Robert Motar. No, Motlossi. Molotsi. We would have to start going by our names, please, before we chop our tongues. And yeah, Queen Sinovia is here. And I really want to thank you so much. Leon Smith, thank you also for watching. All the Facebookers, I see you. I see your numbers. are growing every day. Even though I know most of you our Facebook pages are watching from the continent, which is terribly really late now. And I know about the issue of borders out there. But you know what? Until we all bleed and sacrifice to build this continent that is our own. So tomorrow and the whole week is going to be mothers talking, daughters talking to us. Just it's our week, let's say. So we do know it's all about Ubuntu every day. But if this day was made and said is for mother and the queens, then let's enjoy the space for at least. But we know that it's a continuity. It's not just today and we go back. We all know what we do, right? So I want to see us tomorrow again. And thank you, Nathaniel. I see you, Obina. Obina, it's been a while, but you're here. Betty Yekins, thank you. Thank you, sister. Hiya, Heka. Johnny Johnson. Johnny Johnson. I don't know, it's Johnny Boy or Johnny Johnson. Yes, of course, all. Diana. Yeah. Diana Atkinson. I'm just calling some of the names that are appearing on the chat just to say hello, that I do recognize that our spirits are melting, but with a human experience and giving us the faces and the earth that we shall all return to, right? After our journey is completed. Kwame, thank you so much. Vegan, thank you, thank you, thank you. And like I said, I really want to thank you. I just want to thank you for being this. We don't give up our love because some people remember what happens in the plantations, the mix, the forcing, the rape, the genocide, and we become this mix and mix and mix and mix in colors and different types. So do not be worried. We keep the spirit of love is the only thing. We should continue to give that love. Even at gunpoint, we will still love. Okay? We're not warriors. Professor James said it. We don't carry anything that is not uniting people. And we don't want to be a part. Our hands are clean. And let them continue to be clean forever. Because the Creator, the Most High, knows why. So good night to all of you. We see ourselves tomorrow again. And make sure you share this conversation tonight because of the coming of the Queen Mother of Panama. I mean, sitting right there in the middle and connecting the other kings and queens all across the globe. Good night to you, Medasa, Asante Sana, Berry War, Miyaka, Bayete, Bayete, Bayete. Good night. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.